Yes, tis me. I'm the only one with the password, I think. Dark Skies. Holy. Why is the white ball still in the game? Oh shit. Sick boy. Is Sick boy here now? I gotta make some coffee or something, bro. I'm dead. Wait, I'm confused too. First Thursday in a while without. Ah, okay. Alright, y'all, we're getting Sick boy on the call. Hello? Hello? I cannot hear you, Sick boy. If you're talking. Oh, now I should. I don't know if you're talking. I cannot hear you though. Maybe this will wake me up. Oh man. Just Luke here. Just Luke here and Paul. This session. Oh, Sick boy. Hey, now I can hear you. I'm guessing it will. I think it should. Oh no! Are you left again?
PJ.
Yo. Oh,
right,
no.
hopefully you can hear me. Unfortunately, I'm on the worst.
I can hear myself.
I'm on. Oh yeah, I'm gonna turn myself down.
Okay.
It's fine. Talk again.
Yeah, talking.
Can you hear yourself?
No, I cannot hear myself now.
Okay, perfect. Unfortunately, you're really quiet on my end, so I'm going to struggle to hopefully listen to you.
That's okay. I think I don't know. I'll probably just let you call this one, but I don't know. I'm thinking about making some coffee to try to wake myself up right now, but regardless, you take most of the action once the race starts.
Okay, I'm happy with that. So, if you're just joining the stream right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first inaugural pre-season testing race for the second season of VFL. I'm going to be commentating today on the Season 1 VFL World Champion, Sick Boy, also known as Kyle Chillingsworth. I'm sure that PJ will just refer to me as Kyle from now on. I'm sure it's much simpler. I'm fairly certain.
What was that? You said Sick Boy, otherwise known as what?
Kyle Chillingsworth. That's my real name.
You just said your whole name?
My whole name on the internet for everyone to hear, hopefully. No one steals my identity or anything. I am going to be recording my own footage of this. I'm just starting the recording right now, actually. And it's going to be a bit difficult because you're seeing the video recording of PJ's POV, but you're going to be listening to the commentary of mine. So it's going to be a little bit weird, but worry not, because I am going to be uploading the footage of this by tomorrow about 12 AM, 12 PM maybe. But anyway, here's the official start of my commentary. I do apologise, there was a bit of technical difficulty with me trying to join. However, hopefully I'm now going to be able to deliver good and reliable commentary content, just like, to be honest, PJ and Adam have been doing, or Dark Inferno have been doing all season, and their commentaries have been amazing. But as I said before, I'm Sick Boy. You've seen me on the track all last season, and man, what a season that was. You heard my voice a little bit at the end of last season, last week. But I've decided to retire from the racetrack and join PJ in the commentary box because I find it much more peaceful and a lot less stressful watching the action from up here rather than being down there in a car. Even so, I've just witnessed Cole pop the charts with a 1:26.7, which is a very competitive lap time, almost 2 seconds ahead of our new driver for Season 2. To be pretty competitive if he is in there for Tier 2. We might have to bump him up because he's just out-qualified our Season 1 runner-up, Robert DS, in the Alpine, alongside his teammate Dark Inferno, who was commentating with PJ last season.
Wasn't, hey, it's Luke here, the one who was saying that he doesn't even have setups?
I'm not too sure. I haven't been following the Discord recently, to be honest, PJ.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, if it turns out that he hasn't been using setups, that is an incredibly competitive lap time. Trust me, it is. That is an incredibly good one. But I'm just checking the confirmed drivers right now, and I think for Tier 2, Luke is actually lined up. So, I don't know, we might have to upgrade him to a Tier 1 reserve if he isn't already, because...
Yeah, and I just
actually,
he was the one that was said that he just does default setup, so that is pretty impressive.
That is incredible for a default setup. I think the problem with using default setups, I used to use them quite a bit, is that you feel very locked. They always go for a very high amount of rear downforce. I think it's because if you're new to the game, they don't really want you spinning out a lot. But the problem with that is, with a high amount of rear downforce, is you're going to be understeering a lot into corners, and you're going to be slow as anything on the straights. And the problem with that is when you're using a default setup, it almost feels like your car is a bit on rails, in the fact that you've got so much rear downforce, it's almost difficult to turn the car at times. But it's a very safe setup, and you're not going to be spinning out or oversteering a lot. Now, I was actually kind of surprised when I joined the lobby that we've only got 14 people today. But remember, this is a pre-season testing race. This is just a fun little social race to hopefully keep everyone's skills up to check before we start the season in 3 weeks' time, with our inaugural race being in Silverstone. I believe that's starting around the 22nd of October, and I am incredibly looking forward to the first race, to be honest, PJ. So this is just a fun little tester just to really see who's going to be at the top of the leaderboards, just, you know, before the season starts. And at the moment, Dark Inferno is the one topping the charts with a 126.6, or just shy of a 126.6.
You just love to see it.
And that was an incredible lap. I was actually following it along, and it was a really good lap.
Do you know what your quality time on this track is?
Unfortunately not. I think that unfortunately when Portimao was actually released, the game did a performance change in the cars. They added a lot more drag, and that made the time trial times actually reset for all of the tracks that you haven't raced since Portimao, and I don't think I have raced it since then. So not only do I not remember my Bahrain time trial lap time, I don't even think I have a lap time on Bahrain. But even so, I was just following Dark Inferno a bit. He's run out of fuel, he's limping back to the pits. Steph is just coming out of the final corner right now, but he's not taking a very good line. In fact, he's cutting, so I believe he's going to be entering the pits now. There's been a spin from somebody just coming out of the tight left-hander. But right now, I think the person to watch is this Luke kid. He's kind of smashing all expectations right now. Yeah. He's on a flying lap, just coming out of the penultimate corner onto a pretty strong DRS straight, the final DRS straight, I think you could call it, on the lap, heading into the final turn right now. And you see, I'm all new to this spectator menu, I'm not going to lie. So it's pretty fun. Always good. Yeah, exactly. I need to try and find, so you've got telemetry, you've got lap data, and then there's the track map. Let's go for it all. To be honest, there we go. So that's gone, and now we've just got the laps. Hopefully, this gameplay's pretty good. So, here we go. We've got a 5-place grid penalty because Infamous Aim has just made contact with Dark Inferno, and Dark Inferno's just gone into the pits.
Oh no!
I believe. I mean, I'm not too sure what happened there, but Infamous Aim is now into the pits. I'm not too sure what happened there at all, to be honest, but it would always be interesting. I'm just checking Discord right now, and I believe that Dark Inferno isn't too happy in the Discord chat.
Oh no.
It must have been, I did not catch that on camera, PJ, but I'm pretty sure that potentially Infamous Aim might have gone into the back of Dark Inferno, going into the pits, or perhaps Dark Inferno went into the back of Infamous Aim, or Infamous, whilst he was going into the pits. But even so, Infamous has ended up giving himself a time penalty. I'm not too sure what happened there, but it is a shame. 5-place grid penalty even, sorry, for Infamous. Which is a shame. It's always a shame to see it. Cole is actually on the fastest lap right now in the Aston Martin. Approaching the final corner, it will be interesting. He's on his out lap. I'm going to follow Cole right here for his qualifying lap. We've only got 1 minute 50 seconds left of quali. And it will be interesting to see if he's able to do anything.
Nice. I'll leave you to commentate this lap. I'm going to go get some coffee and shit, so take it away.
Oh, well, thank you, PJ. So, just heading into turn 1 now. It's very difficult. He doesn't hit the apex fully into turn 2 and doesn't take enough curb, or at least what I would take, coming into turn 3. Turn 4, always late on the brakes, but he's a bit early, and in my opinion, he did mess up turn 4. I am sorry, Cole, but I would have gone a bit deeper on the brakes in turn 4, and unfortunately does miss the apex in the S's, and he's invalidated, and that was a tough one. He almost, unfortunately, lost the car, because I believe that's the exit of turn 6 or 7. You've got incredibly unstable curbs, and if you accidentally go too far off those curbs, it can really unsettle the car. I'm just following Darsan right now. He's gone slowly, so I think the person to follow is either Kevin or Rob. Just because he was the runner-up last season, I'm going to be following Robert DS. He's coming round the final corner now with 45 seconds left on the clock. He's currently 5th on the grid, which isn't a lot like Rob. I'm sure he could do better, and he is an incredible driver. So let's watch this. This is his final attempt to get out there. Dark Inferno has also crossed the line just before Rob, so I wonder if there's going to be some sort of teamwork here to try and give perhaps Dark a slipstream. He is already on provisional pole, to be fair. But let's see what Rob can do right now. He pops DRS heading into the first straight. Remember what I said, late on the brakes into turn 4. And it's a pretty good line into turn 4, to be honest, from Rob. As he approaches the S's of turn 5, 6 and 7, he perfectly hits the curb, although he got a little bit of oversteer. And to be honest, that was one of the best lines I've seen through the S's in a while. Perfect apex hit into turn 8. But this is almost a corkscrew from Laguna Seca into turn 9, as Sky just tops the tables with a 126.595. That was only 3 milliseconds faster than Dark Inferno for pole position. But even so, Rob does an incredible corkscrew heading into the fast left-hander of turn 10. The fast right-hander even of turn 10 as he heads towards the penultimate corner of the lap onto this DRS straight. Right behind him is Dark Inferno, in fact, who's gone 61 milliseconds faster than his last time. At the moment, Dark Inferno's on provisional pole, but it's Rob who goes 4/10 faster than his last time, which may just be enough for a front row finish, but unfortunately he messes it up on the final corner. He goes wide and he surely would have invalidated, but he doesn't. He still goes pole, but Dark Inferno snatches it from him by just under 0.3 of a second, I believe. That was a good effort from Sky, but it just shows you how close this championship is going to be. The top 3 drivers separated by under 0.1 of a second. I have no idea how Rob didn't invalidate, to be honest. He went too wide on the exit of the final corner, but managed to ease off and not get a time penalty. And that concludes our qualifying. I'll go through the rundown of the standings of the qualifying. I can't even speak because that qualifying exit, that ending was absolutely incredible. But man, I'll go through the standings right now. So we've got Dark Inferno on pole with a 126.5 with Robert DS just behind him. But Dark unfortunately does have a 5-place grid penalty, and so does Infamous because of that incident, which unfortunately I wasn't able to catch. So it'll be Robert on pole with Sky alongside him on the front row. We've got the Jamaican Luke, who's going to actually be in 3rd position, and Cole in the Aston Martin in 4th position. My former teammate in Williams, Seth, just behind. He is lacking a teammate this time, unfortunately, for this social race, with Uda, Kevin and JKS behind. Then we have Darsan, Infamous, Cameroon, Tristan and JDM. But remember, Infamous, I do believe, will be starting last on the grid due to his 5-place grid penalty. And that does mean that Dark Inferno will be starting in 6th position. I believe he may even be alongside Steph on the same row of the grid due to his grid penalty. So it'll be very interesting to see what the grid's going to be like for this race. Unfortunately, I have been placed on the grid, which isn't very good, so we're not going to have a very good start to this race, but I'm sure that I will retire from the race during the formation lap. That is a bit of a technical difficulty, that I'm actually on the grid whilst I'm commentating, but I will retire during the formation lap.
That happened to me when we raced at Portimao, actually. It was the same track. I joined late, and I actually started on the grid.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's because I've joined late. I didn't specify that I was a spectator, so I just joined, and it's given me a random position. To be honest, I'm half tempted to race and commentate at the same time and try and win. But no, unfortunately not. I think that is a bit of a cheating, unfortunately. I hope that you're going to be able to check the... there we go. Oh no, I'm not actually able to quit from the start. So I think you're going to have to take the start of the race, PJ, because unfortunately I'm not able to retire from the race during the formation lap, which is a shame. So
drive it
you're
into
going to
the
have
wall.
to take it away. Unfortunately, I do try and drive it into the wall, but I don't think there's damage. No, there is no damage on the formation lap. So there's no way, unfortunately. I think I'm cursed into this Mercedes. There is no way that I can possibly leave. But something of note, JDM is actually starting on a hard compound, which is very interesting. I believe the bottom 10 are all on mediums, or at least outside of the top 10 they're all on mediums, but JDM's gone for the hards. Now you see, that could be a very good tactical decision. I believe it's going to be a medium hard race today. So if he starts on the hards, he's going to have not only a one-stop race, but an advantage towards the second half of the race. The problem, PJ, is what happens if there's an early safety car? JDM is going to have shot himself in the foot big time. He's going to be forced to go on mediums early because he can't go on hards for the rest of the race, because you need to use 2 different compounds in the race. If there's an early safety car, he'll be on about 1% wear on his hards, and everyone else who has gone on the softs would have gotten a perfect opportunity to make up a couple of places. Meanwhile, JDM may even lose a couple of places on the hards. Look, I'm not going to say no to a gamble and a very difficult strategy, but I mean, that is a gamble and a half, and I'm not too sure if it's going to pay off. But for JDM's sake, I really do hope that it does pay off. Now I'm kind of impacting other people's races as I race off in front during this formation lap.
Do some donuts.
Oh, unfortunately the AI took control of my car too late, PJ, but I know that for you, I would have done some donuts just to kind of show off the skill, hopefully. But I think I'm lacking skill in the commentary box. I think that you're just such a... I think you're the better commentator, PJ, I'm not going to lie, so that's why I'm going to hand the start over to you. Take it away whilst I retire from the race. Unfortunately, I can't do the start because I'm at the back of the grid and I won't know what's happening. So, whilst I retire and...
Retire as soon as you can, and then you take it over, pal.
Well, hopefully I will be able to retire in time. I really do hope, because the race start is always good.
Let's start,
it's always...
Alright, I'm gonna start on board with Dark.
Okay, you go for it. I'm probably gonna start on board with... maybe even... oh, hang on, I still can't exit.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to take it away,
with
PJ.
Yourself. Alright, 5 Social Race, and we are racing. How does Sick Boy get... Oh, we have one DNF. Sick Boy's out. No, our championship leader has dropped out of the race. Meanwhile,
that's shocking. But I must admit, though, Sky goes and ends up taking the lead of the race. We've got Steph, who's made up about 5 places all the way into P2 right now, with Robert DS in P3 and Cole behind in P4. Are they going to try and anybody make a move into turn 4? Unfortunately not, but it's a very tight midfield all the way to Dark in P5. A lot of people going wide. I believe JDM's gone wide on the hards. Like I called, he's struggling on the hards at the start of the race. Now it's extremely tight for the first 5 races. Robert DS going right up to the back of Steph in the Williams as they enter the corkscrew. It's a very good overtaking opportunity. You've got a long DRS straight after this corkscrew. Obviously they won't have DRS on lap 1, but it was an incredible exit from Rob. Unfortunately though, it seems like Steph has gotten a pretty good use of the airs right there, because he is pulling away. Like I said though, the pack is incredibly tight all the way to Dark Inferno in 5th. There isn't much action going down later in the grid though. There's quite a big gap, and it seems like Luke, unfortunately, after an incredible qualifying position, there must have been contact or something, PJ, because he's all the way down in 13th, with a 3-second gap to Tristan in 12th, and Cameroon is 7 seconds behind Luke in 14th, and it looks like he's got wing damage as well, because he's struggling through turn 11 there. However, Sky is lagging all over the place, with Steph just behind him, 3/10. Robert, 3/10 behind Steph in the Alpine. Cole, 6/10 behind Robert in P4, and Dark Inferno makes a move on Cole, whilst Steph and Rob... Steph's making a move onto Sky on the inside of turn 1. He's going to have to brake early, but he seems to overshoot just a little bit. In fact, he's on the grass. That's going to allow Sky at least, to take the lead, and unfortunately I don't think I can stay on Sky's POV for very long, because he's lagging all over the place. In fact, it's going to be difficult for Steph to even identify where he is. He's lagging all over the place right now, but he does seem to take the lead once again into turn 3 as they enter the S's of turns 4, 5 and 6. And unfortunately Sky's lagging all over the place, but Robert is right behind that back wheel of Steph there into turn 4 as they enter turn, I believe, turn 8, just as they enter the corkscrew. Cole was epic in 4th, Dark Inferno just behind in 5th, and Kevin unfortunately quite well behind, but Dark seems to tap Cole. Hopefully that wasn't any wing damage. It seemed to be extremely slow entering that corkscrew. But that's just how tight the first 5 positions are. I think I'm going to stick on to Dart for a while because, fortunately, there doesn't seem to be much action. You've got the 2 Red Bulls of Kevin and Darsan, who are about 4/10 to a second behind the rest of the pack. So I think the main battle right here is the fact that Rob just went wide on that fast right-hander. Steph's still in P2 as we enter the predicted pit stop strategy of a soft, medium, or a soft, hard. However, I do believe that it is going to be a medium soft. It's going to be a 1-stop. It's going to be an interesting race. It's going to be a 1-stop for those who started on mediums and a 2-stop for those who started on softs. Because I don't think hards will make it to the end, and you're going to have such a disadvantage, actually, that I think you're going to have to go for the 2-stop. I personally would go for soft, medium, soft, because it's always good to get that boost of speed at the end. That's always crucial, because you've got the least amount of fuel in your car, so you've got the highest chance to try and get the fastest lap. But Steph's going for DRS into turn 3, and unfortunately he does get squeezed a bit by Sky. He seems to make the same mistake that he made before, going too deep into turn 4, and Sky takes the lead once again going into the S's. And Steph is right on the tail, but Sky seems to make a mistake there, and he tries to rejoin, but I think he goes too wide, and he's just contacting with Cole, actually. He's side by side into the corkscrew, but like I was saying, throughout the S's, he went a bit too wide, and he's gone completely. In fact, I just can't commentate watching Sky, unfortunately. I cannot watch Sky's POV because he's lagging all over the place. He was in the wall for a second there. So I'm just giving incorrect information, but Kevin has now caught up to the rest of the pack, and unfortunately I believe that Sky's lag is actually impacting him right now. I think he's ghosted for the rest of the drivers, and for me, he's either lagging all over the place or he's losing it. I think he actually lost it then. His rear tyres must be on fire. I told you, as soon as he went wide on the S's and went over the curb, he lost the rear a little bit, and that's how he lost the position to Steph. But Steph in the Williams got on the podium in Imola, got on the podium for the final race in Brazil, and now he's improved even more. He's now leading the race in Bahrain for the first practice race of the pre-season testing before season 2. But Rob is right behind his bumper heading into turn 1, and he gets another stint of DRS right behind Steph now. If Steph accidentally brakes a little bit too late heading into turn 4, but luckily he doesn't this time. But he has broken a little bit too late into turn 4 previously, and that has kind of cost him a little bit. But Rob is bouncing over these curbs, and I would not recommend it. They're almost sausage curbs around the S's. They're extremely tough to battle with, because you do not want to be over those curbs whatsoever. But I believe there's just been a spin, and that's Dark Inferno. He's had a big hit onto the rear wing. Hopefully it isn't damaged. JDM's just been given a time penalty. I'm not too sure whether that's for cutting. Yes, it is. Tristan as well, given a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But that is really unfortunate for Dark Inferno. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to capture it, but luckily we are going to be asking each of the drivers to submit their POVs, not only for incident reports, but to capture all of the action next season. So hopefully we will be able to see that incident. I'm not too sure if he was hit off by JDM, because I saw that JDM had gained a position and was right behind Dark Inferno when that incident happened. Or maybe it's just a case of Dark Inferno hit the curbs too much and unfortunately spun out. But Rob DS, he's right behind Steph right now, 1/10. He's right beside him. In fact, he's ahead of him heading into turn 1. He takes the outside line, and Steph decides to really yield the position and go for the DRS on the second straight instead. He's right behind Rob right now, gets the superior exit, and he has. Rob's decided to go for the inside. Steph's on the outside. He brakes perfectly heading into turn 4, and he does maintain the lead into the S's. That was a smart move by Steph. He didn't fight Rob into turn 1. He let him get the position, got the DRS, because you'd much rather have the lead through the S's and the corkscrew than you would any day heading into that DRS straight. We've got Cole 1 second behind Rob with a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. The 2 Red Bulls are battling a little bit. Kevin's unfortunately lagging, so I can't show his POV, but Darsan has fallen behind a little bit. He's 2 seconds behind everybody else now. However, Dark Inferno has just exited the pits on a fresh set of medium tyres, and I imagine a new wing as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make up any positions. It's interesting that he hasn't gone for the hard tyre. Those mediums will not last until the end, PJ, so he's going to have to 2-stop it. I mean, if I was in Dark Inferno's position and I had lost my wing at the very start of the race and I was down in P12, I do think I would have gone for the one stop, because it's in situations like those in which you kind of need to change your strategy up a little bit and go for whatever everybody else isn't going for. However, I need to shut up and start watching this battle between Steph and Rob. Rob just takes P1 heading into turn 1, and I believe Steph's just going to do exactly what he did a lap before. He's going to give Robert the lead heading into turn 1, get DRS heading into turn 4. This time Rob's held the outside, Steph's on the inside, but it isn't enough. Steph's easily going to polish up that first position heading into the S's and the corkscrew. Like I said, that is where you want the lead. Rob's all over the place, unfortunately, due to dirty air, and you don't want dirty air through the S's at all. If you run wide and you go on that incredibly dangerous curb, you've lost the rear end and you're completely out of the race, unfortunately. Infamous, however, just sets the fastest lap on, I believe, a fresh set of softs. Since he did start on mediums, he qualified outside the top 10, and that's why he set the fastest lap. At the moment, though, Infamous is only 23 seconds behind JKS, and a lot of people haven't pit, so I believe Infamous might even come out about P8 after everybody else has pit, on a fresh set of softs. He might even be having a good opportunity to get a large amount of points, but unfortunately Rob goes a bit wide from the fast right-hander of, I believe, around turn 12. I swear I'm getting these turn numbers wrong every time. I must have referred to that turn as a different number every single lap. Sky overtakes his Haas teammate in Udar. In fact, Udar seems to be struggling a little bit, and he completely cuts the penultimate turn, actually. Infamous Aim gets the time penalty after just setting the fastest lap, and Cole overtakes Darsan. In fact, Steph's in the pits, that's why he overtakes. Rob's now in the lead, Steph's in the pits, he's going on the medium tyre, he's going to come out, I predict, around 9th position. Rob is now in the lead on the softs. He's gone for the undercut, Steph. Let's see if it pays off. There's a yellow flag in turn 1. Luke has gone for a brand new front wing. Udar is also into the pits. So everyone's pitting the same lap as Steph. It will be interesting to see, and Rob unfortunately loses it a bit on the curb there. He must have lost a bit of time. I believe he's about 1 second behind Steph now. Due to him, his soft tyres are absolutely creamed. However, he just gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Kevin, and gets Steph's on a 5-second penalty. We'll see if that gets removed. However, if he serves it under safety car, it will be removed. Unfortunately, it kind of ruins a bit of a battle going on between Steph and Rob, because it will no longer be a race of who crosses the line first. It'll be a race of who wins after considering all of these 5-second penalties getting removed. However, I am happy that Steph doesn't have any wing damage, because he just got a major collision with Kevin, and that normally means only one thing, and that's wing damage. However, I believe as well it means that if you tap them under safety car, or if you tap them whilst they're exiting the pits. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happened. As I predicted, Robert DS is in the lead, and he's decided not to pit again, guys. This is very risky from Rob, but I'm not going to question the strategy from a Season 1 runner-up. He definitely gave me a hard time last season. I don't know if he's going for the one stop. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but he is extending these softs by quite a margin. I think he's just got to commit to staying out, because he knows that Steph will be ahead of him once he leaves the pits. Cole was epic in P2, 8.5 tenths behind Rob. He is going to get DRS on the exit of the corkscrew. It will be interesting to see if he can actually put any pressure on Rob, and that will give an even greater advantage to Steph right now, who does have a 5-second penalty. But remember, guys, it will be removed unless we have a safety car, and so far it doesn't seem like we are going to get a safety car. All of these drivers have been racing extremely cleanly so far, and we haven't had many incidents apart from some minor spins. And remember, Bahrain has got extremely long runoffs, as we just see Udar go for an overtake on JDM, but JDM sticks with it and goes for an extremely tight line through turn 1 and actually touches the curbs a lit. Loses an extreme amount of time, but does get DRS on Udar heading into the late braking of turn 3 and the S's. Udar does keep the lead though. Apart from that, we've got a side-by-side battle between Luke in the Alfa Romeo and Sky in the Haas. Heading into the corkscrew, I wouldn't recommend going up the inside, Luke, into the corkscrew. You'd much be better off holding behind Sky and waiting for DRS, which is exactly what Luke does. He gets DRS, but Sky gets a superior exit. He's using a lot of ERS. However, Hey It's Luke is only on 6% ERS right now, and unfortunately, Sky was lagging. I thought that he just got punted off. I do apologise, but unfortunately it was him just lagging. Cole was epic, goes into the pits, he's on a fresh set of mediums as he exits, and Robert DS is still on the mediums as we have a yellow flag and his infamous aim. Unfortunately, the man who has the fastest lap has just lost it outside the penultimate corner as JDM gets a time penalty for corner cutting. Udar races off into the lead. Unfortunately, Udar, he must have lost a lot of airs. Oh no, it's Luke with a lot of airs. No, it's actually Sky with a lot of airs. He had 40% airs at one point, whereas Luke right behind has unfortunately only got 4%. I'm going to follow this battle for a bit. It's a very tight battle. He goes around the outside, gets a much better exit than last lap out of turn 1, and I'm sure he's going to try and get DRS onto Sky right now. Sky is an incredible driver. He actually surprised me quite often with his results in the first season because he joined quite late. However, he is still racing incredibly well today in 6th position. Rob, to be honest at this point, guys, I'm not too sure what Rob is doing having not pit, but I daren't question his tactics. He's still on these softs. They're 9 laps old now, and Steph is only, I believe, around 17 seconds away from Rob, and the pit stop's 23 seconds, guys. So I believe Steph is going to be around 10 seconds ahead of Rob once he pits. The only thing that Rob can do now to salvage his race is go for the 1 stop. I hate to admit, but if Rob goes for the 2 stop now, Steph is going to be in the lead by almost 10 seconds. So it will be interesting to see how people kind of change up their strategies during the race, because this is actually a close one. We've got 3 seconds behind on Darsan, who is unfortunately yet to pit, so actually he's going to be moving down quite a bit down the tables. I'm not actually too sure. In fact, guys, rather than me questioning whether he's pit, why don't we check the stats right now? So we're going to go on stops and also penalties. So we've got a 3-second penalty for Tristan and a 10-second penalty for Steph. Obviously he's knocked into somebody else and got a 5-second penalty. And then we have got 1 stop for everybody else. Yes, so Darsan has not pit. He is 3 seconds behind Rob. Unfortunately, both of them, I believe, will come out around Sky. And in fact, for telemetry, we will go for gap. We'll go for gap to leader, yes. So we've got about 16 seconds from Steph to Rob. That's the battle we're waiting for. And to be honest, guys, I hate to predict a Grand Prix early, but I believe that Steph's got this. 23-second pit stop is going to be about 6 seconds, 7 seconds ahead of Rob as soon as he exits the pits, and that gap is just growing. Darsan catching up quite significantly to Rob now. He's around 2.8 seconds behind, and they're both on old tyres, so it seems like Rob is struggling quite significantly on those tyres. But then again, guys, Rob is on 80% airs. Obviously he's conserving his battery for something. He knows something that we don't. I believe he may have a bit of a trick up his sleeve, guys. I think that he's going to go for the 1-stop strategy. He's going to pit for hards, and he's going into the pits right now. It will be very interesting to see what tyre he goes on. I personally believe he's lost a race if he goes on mediums, so he's got to go on hards, but he's going on mediums. They've just got the medium tyre out. I'm not too sure what's happening with Rob, to be honest. He's pit about 4 laps later than Steph, and as predicted, we will see Steph rocket past Rob with about 6-second gap to Rob. However, Steph only on about 25% airs, and Rob is on about 90% airs, to be fair. Once he's left the pits, guys, I believe Rob is going to be on literally 100% airs, which is a shame because I believe he's actually lost a bit of airs. He's saved so much, and you gain about 20 to 30% of airs once you pit. It recharges your battery quite significantly, and because he was on 80% airs beforehand, I believe he has lost around 10% airs. Now, I know that sounds trivial, however, that is about half a second, and in Formula 1, unfortunately, half a second is the difference between getting DRS and possibly overtaking somebody in a lap, or not getting DRS at all. Half a second is the matter between a win and a loss. However, Steph, leading the Grand Prix, so far, if we factor in pit stops, we've got Darsan in the lead, Tristan behind, with a 10-second gap. Darsan is going to come out around just behind Rob, I believe, between Rob and Sky. So he's going to fit in around P5, but it is Steph who leads the Grand Prix with a 4-second gap. He actually approaches Tristan, the back marker right now. That is how much distance Steph has been able to make up on those fresh medium tyres for the last 5 laps, whilst Tristan and Rob and Darsan have been limping around on their fried softs. He's gone so quick that he's been able to catch up to Tristan, the back marker, and now he's getting DRS. I do feel for Rob right now. Seems like this win has just slipped through his fingers. Steph getting DRS is a big deal because he's now going to have DRS. He's going to get another set of DRS, and I believe he's going to overtake Tristan. And I do apologise. I kept on calling Tristan a backmarker, but he isn't. What I mean is the fact that Steph has pit and Tristan hasn't. So theoretically, Steph is 23 seconds ahead of Tristan right now, and he's catching up to Darsan, 8.2 seconds now. It's quite incredible watching this delta decrease. It's gone from 8.2 to 8.1 to 7.9. Steph is a man on a mission right now. He's on fire on these fresh tyres. I really do think that he made the right call to pit early. But I've just thought of something, guys. If Steph's pit so early, he may be going for a soft, medium strategy, whilst Rob, who's pit late, might be going for a soft, medium, soft. You see, that will be incredibly interesting at the very end. Will Rob be able to literally catch up 8 seconds on Steph? It'll be very interesting. But Rob right there, running a little bit wide outside the penultimate turn. Now that one is definitely going to get him a corner cutting penalty. Darsan heads into the pits. It'll be interesting to see what tyre compound they're bringing out, and it is the mediums. I believe, guys, since these drivers are pitting so late and they're going on the medium tyre, they're going for a soft, medium, soft strategy, while Steph is going for a soft, medium, medium strategy, and it will make the end of the Grand Prix incredibly interesting. Now, Steph, once again, the leader of the race, he got double DRS on Tristan, which would have given him a significant advantage over Rob, who is now, unfortunately, approaching the dirty air of Cole Was Epic. This will be very interesting, but there's a bit of a race between Kevin and Cameroon now as they head towards the penultimate corner. Kevin's using a lot of DRS, but I don't think it's a good idea. He does in fact, no, he doesn't. It's side by side between Cameroon and Kevin, and in fact, JDM's poking his nose in there and ends up getting a double overtake on the final corner. And I believe may even be getting DRS. In fact, he has got DRS. This is an incredible battle into turn 1. They're 3 wide into turn 1, in fact. It's Cameroon who goes on the inside on his hard tyre and takes an incredibly wide line, incredibly narrow line even, but it's JDM who gets the inside of turn 2. It's going to be Cameroon with DRS. In fact, he doesn't even get DRS because the driver's so close through the line. That means that Kevin gets DRS. He's the only driver with DRS heading into turn 4 now. And this is side by side, another contact between JDM and Cameroon heading into the S's. This is going to end poorly, and it has. I predicted it. Side by side into the S's never ends well, and it's Cameroon who unfortunately comes out poorly. And to be honest, I do believe that that might have to be checked with the stewards. I'm not too sure. It does seem like a racing incident. But if I remember, what happened is that Cameroon went a little bit wide heading into turn 3, then into the S's he went a little bit wide as well. Kevin went for the racing line, or JDM, sorry, went for the racing line and didn't give Cameroon enough space. Normally that would be a penalty for JDM, but here's the big question. He was a car's length ahead. Cameroon went extremely wide heading into the first corner of the S's. I mean, that was an incredible battle as Udar takes into turn 1. In fact, he takes Tristan into turn 1, but gets pushed off by Tristan, and it's another carnage. He cuts turn 2. Tristan gets pushed behind, but he does let the... Wow, that's an incredible sportsmanship from Udar there. You can tell that he did ease off there. He does let Tristan through. That was an incredible race. I do apologise for following this race. I've been spectating Steph, who's just chilling there in P1 with a 5.3 second gap to Cole. I should be watching this incredible battle between all of these drivers. We've got JDM, who has just taken the lead from Kevin and Cameroon, who may be under investigation for quite a collision between himself and Cameroon heading into the S's. You've got Kevin, who was able to benefit extremely well, as Robert DS real quick just gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Remember, Steph has a 10-second time penalty. However, I believe all 10 seconds are going to be removed. Sky with the fastest lap, by the way, as we head over to a tyre. Let's watch the tyres right now. But even so, like I said, Cameroon unfortunately gets kind of hit off a little bit, and I don't think he got much wing damage. He would have warmed up his hards a little bit, but this is what's crucial. Tristan, I believe, if I check, Tristan hasn't had any damage, and he's had a 1-stop. Tristan is going for a 1-stop, 100%. He's going for the medium-soft strategy, with Udar right behind, but not enough for an overtake. Man, this is an incredible race. In fact, I just said Udar isn't close enough for an overtake, but he does miss his braking zone a little bit and gets a little bit too close to Tristan right now. They get a second set of DRS heading into turn 4, the late braking zone. He pokes his nose up the inside and unfortunately does get, taken out by Tristan, who closes the door. I mean, again, guys, I'm not actually too sure whose fault that was. Tristan didn't leave the room, but was it Udar's right to brake as late as he did? Bit of carnage heading into that turn. That's 2 contacts now with McLaren racers heading into turn 4. Man, this race has really shaped up to be quite a battle, and we're only halfway through. And I believe the race is going to come down to the final few laps when we see this battle of the strategies. Steph serving a 5-second time penalty the next time he pits, and I imagine pitting for softs. Meanwhile, we have Rob going for the overcut, pitting for softs. It'll be Steph on the mediums, Rob on the softs, a 7.6 gap between them, and Steph would have served a 5-second penalty, but Rob has a 3-second time penalty that will not be removed from the game. Luke pits once again, and I believe that he has already stopped. So Luke has pit for the second time going on for the mediums. I believe he may have gone soft, and that's why he's pit for the mediums, because he doesn't have any wing damage, so there's not much of a reason to pit, other than the fact that he's gone for a soft, medium strategy, which is very interesting, and I believe he's the only racer to do that. Meanwhile, we see Dark Inferno limping around turn 4, because unfortunately he's quit once again. It's a real shame with Dark. He seems to unfortunately get himself into these situations in which he does get hit off quite often. He seems to get extremely unlucky, and he gets into these battles, and unfortunately in Formula 1 is that it's such a tight race that sometimes these battles just end in people getting hit off, and most of the time they are racing incidents, but sometimes they are unfortunately not racing incidents, and Dark has come off poorly. I'm just going to quickly cut over to the race between Kevin and Cameroon. Kevin unfortunately isn't given enough space, in my opinion, heading into turn 3, and he does have to back out, which is a smart move from Kevin. You back out and lose about half a second, or you commit to the throttle, and he would have been bouncing over those curbs, and that's never good. The curbs on Bahrain are deadly, especially the ones through the S's. As we've seen, Cameroon gets a little bit of oversteer, and Cameroon also goes on those incredibly dangerous curbs on the exit turn 6. I would not do that if I was Cameroon, because I've seen so many cases of drivers going on those curbs and unfortunately losing the rear end. Sky heads into the pits right now. He's already stopped once. I imagine once again he's gone for a soft strategy and is now on mediums until the end of the race. Now this race, strategy wise, is really shaping up to be a big one. We've got 3 drivers on 3 different strategies. Steph with the soft, medium. We've got Rob on the soft, medium, soft, and we've got Sky on the soft, medium. And I'm just predicting that Steph will go soft, medium, because guys, these mediums aren't going to last a very long time. I believe softs last around 8 laps brand new. 8 to 9 laps. That also means, guys, we are going to see Steph enter the pits around lap 19 or lap 20, which will be extremely interesting. Or he could try and make his mediums last as long as possible, knowing that he's got a huge gap to Rob. But at the same time, guys, that gap is closing as he approaches Cole was epic. He's unfortunately going to get a little bit dirtier as he approaches Cole. With Cole just in front of Cole is actually a DC Dark Inferno. I'll get back to talking about Dark. Don't you worry, I haven't forgotten about him. However, Cole is going to get DRS on Dark, which is extremely bad for Rob, actually, because I'm not too sure if he is going to get DRS, but I think he is. He does get DRS, but so does Cole, which I'm not too sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing for Rob. It means that he gets another set of DRS, but he also gets dirty air through turn 1 and 2. But dirty air isn't going to affect you at the speeds in which turn 1 and 2. And I've just checked my mini-map, and Udar is unfortunately spun, but I want to dart back to Robert DS, and I think I've just missed it. Rob goes extremely slowly out the side of the exit of turn... In fact, what's actually happening? I'm not too sure. Because Rob once again eases off the accelerator, and Cole's also... Oh, I believe it may even be a safety car, but unfortunately it hasn't gone on my tyre. As, unfortunately, PJ, I believe I just heard your mic crackle. Is there a safety car? My game's glitched out and it hasn't shown me one.
Oh yeah, there's a VSC.
Oh, okay, a VSC, and this virtual safety car is brought to you by... Take it away, PJ.
No, the Jaffers... What's the name?
Jaffa Cakes.
Jaffa Cakes, of course.
Jaffa Cakes. It is sponsored by Jaffa Cakes. It's sponsored by Maya Sausages. It's sponsored by the Milwaukee Bucks. I actually, it was my brother who searched up Milwaukee Bucks on Google the other day, and apparently you won. I don't know if this is true, but did you either win or get incredibly close to winning the NBA?
We won for the first time in, I think, about 5 decades. We have this amazing boy from Greece who came over and played in Milwaukee and has brought us a championship, and it's a beautiful story, beautiful team. The guys, yeah. So yeah, we just won a championship, first time in my lifetime. Pretty exciting.
Wow, yeah, that is absolutely incredible, because when I searched it up, I was actually incredibly surprised that, you know, you had won the NBA, and that's such an incredible achievement. And wow, I imagine the amount that you seem to be fascinated by sport and American football and basketball. You must have been over the moon when that happened.
I was. I'm about, like 2 minutes down the road from where we won it. So I was out in the streets, feeling the energy and all. It was time to remember for sure. It's a special summer.
Yeah, I imagine it was an absolutely iconic event. I mean, we've had a bit of an event like that. You see, I don't follow football that much, but I do go to the occasional game. And my local football team, Peterborough United, actually got promoted from the 3rd division to the 2nd division of English football for the first time in about 5 years, I believe. But even so, I think they've only been in the Championship, which is the 2nd division, a couple of times in their history. So it's really exciting. And I went to my first Championship League football match the other day. And it was much more interesting. You see a real big difference in the amount of supporters. When we're in League One, which is, even though it's called League One, it's the 3rd division, you don't see many supporters with the away side. But when we were against a championship team, the atmosphere was just so much better. So, yeah, my local team has also had a bit of a success story of its own in recent days. However, Rob goes for an incredible move. In fact, they're all over the place. Let's go on the onboard camera. Rob and Cole are all over the place heading into turn 1, giving each other dirty air and trying to deny the slipstream, but Rob does take the advantage. He does take P2, and he's 5 seconds behind Steph now on his 4-lap older mediums over Cole. That was an incredible overtake that we just saw. And they were all over the place, denying each other slipstream. That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. You swerve to the left and the right to deny them the slipstream, because slipstream and DRS is incredibly strong on any track, but especially Bahrain. You really do forget how long of a track Bahrain is. It's got these incredibly long straights, like especially the penultimate straight. A lot of people see that as, you know, like almost like a quasi-DRS overtaking zone, but in reality, you've got such an opportunity to overtake there, and it isn't even a DRS zone. It's just a slipstreaming opportunity, a bit like on the run up to 130R in the Suzuka International Racing Course. It's one of those traditional slipstream-only overtaking opportunities, but man, is there an overtaking opportunity, and they enter this zone right now, and really it just lines you up perfectly for the DRS on the main straight. But to be honest, guys, Rob is actually pulling ahead, and I believe that's because Cole is running extremely low on ERS. He's on 5%, whilst Rob is still on 50%. To be honest, guys, Steph's just gone into the pits, and is he going to go for another set of mediums, or is he going to risk it with another set of softs? He does go for it. Obviously, his strategy did pay off. He's serving his 5-second time penalty, but it doesn't matter. By the way, look at the graphics on those softs. On those mediums, I never realised that you actually saw the tyres blister in the F1 games. Wow, I've never noticed that before. That really is an incredible detail. But anyway, real quick, is that, man, Steph has somehow, I kept on saying, guys, that he'd go soft, medium, medium, because I did not think that his mediums would last. But you know what? He's pulled it out of the bag. He's now gone for softs for another 8 laps. And this will be interesting. I think, guys, Rob might actually go for the one-stop strategy. Now that he's, and this is major, Steph gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and that means that Rob and Steph both had 3-second time penalties, meaning the battle is back, ladies and gentlemen, because it's no longer going to be decided post-race through time penalties. That means the two drivers are equal. However, Steph will get 5 seconds removed from his time for serving a time penalty, and we just witnessed a bit of an incident from it's Kevin. Unfortunately, he was a back marker, so luckily, actually, it didn't impact any of the leaders, but unfortunately, Kevin does spin on the exit of, I believe it's actually the entrance. He must have taken too much curb on the inside there and oversteered on what I believe is about turn 11, turn 12, but to be honest, I don't know the corner numbers. I'm definitely going to fix that as we head into Azerbaijan next week. But man, this is actually a pretty tight race right now. We have Steph all the way down in P4. He has just pit for a fresh set of soft tyres. We have Robert in P1, 20 seconds in front of Steph. Steph now in P3, he overtakes Cole, who would both pit on the same lap. That just shows you how much pace Steph has got in his tank. He's got about 30% ERS, but Rob, who hasn't even pit a second time, is still sitting on a big, huge bank of 60% ERS, meaning that if Steph gets anywhere near him, I am sure that he'll be able to fend him off. But remember, Steph is going to have 5 seconds removed from his time, so I wouldn't wait too long if I was Rob to start using that ERS, almost this storage that he's kind of set up, because he shouldn't be waiting for Steph to, and also don't forget he's going to have another 5 seconds taken off. No, so the 5 seconds that he's got added post-race will just be completely ignored because they'll be added and removed post-race. But the 5 seconds that he served in the pit lane will be removed. What I'm saying is Rob shouldn't wait too long to start using his ERS, because if he waits for so long that Steph is actually right behind him, he's going to realise that Steph has got 5 seconds removed from his race time. Steph's going to get DRS, and unfortunately he's not going to be able to pull out the 5 seconds. So he's going to have to start using that big bank of ERS quite early. He's still on 52%, and I hate to finish a Grand Prix with any ERS in the tank, let alone 50%, because 50% ERS, PJ, is like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and that's at least. So that's like 4 seconds being added to your race time. That's like getting a 4-second time penalty. It really does make you suffer. But even so, Steph just goes and sets the fastest lap on his 1 lap old set of softs, and he's using a lot of ERS. He takes an incredible line through turn 1 and turn 2 there, using an incredible amount of curb, almost a dangerous amount of curb right there, as he heads into the tight braking zone of turn 4 and the S's of turn 5, 6 and 7. It'll be interesting to see how he takes these. He is on a fastest lap. However, is he going to take too much curb and regret it? Fortunately not. That was a shocking thing to say, ladies and gentlemen. Luckily, he does not take too much curb and does stick to the car. Man, I really should not have said unfortunately. Steph is going to hate me for that. My former teammate, and really the reason why I won the VFL Season 1 World Championship was because Steph was just such a good teammate, and he was always giving me slipstreams and tows, and even let me through in Brazil when unfortunately I had to kind of come back from the back of the grid to luckily and very thankfully win the championship. But I still think that Rob did an incredible race, and if I could have, I would have split the championship between both of us, because he's just as good of a driver as me, if not even better. Even so, Steph, he goes for the fastest lap, and he gets it. Is he going to set an even faster lap? Unfortunately not. As we just watched and spectate the race, I feel like I'm able to breathe a little bit now, PJ, because the race is kind of quieting down a little bit. I'm not even too sure if PJ's there, to be honest.
I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
I've just been letting you go, man. It's beautiful. Yeah, take a breath.
No, well, thanks very much. But yeah, so I'm just kind of taking a breath because I've almost been commentating and talking non-stop now for 24 laps. And right now there's not a lot of a battle going on. Like I said, I think that this race is going to come down to the final couple of laps. It really is, as Steph is let through by back marker. Very nice. I believe that might have been... not actually too sure who it was. JDM, I think, actually, who's just behind Steph. It was JDM who let him through. We've got a very wide mix of tyre compounds right now. We've got Cole and Steph on the softs. Cole may not be in contention for a top 3 finish, since he's actually slower than Steph on a 1 lap lighter tyre, or 1 lap younger tyre, and he is unfortunately losing time to him. No, hang on a minute, Steph just loses it on the exit of, I believe, turn 12, and I can't believe it, guys. Just as I said that Cole was out of contention for a podium finish, unfortunately, and I hate to see it, Steph takes too much curb on that really fast, and he loses his wing, ladies and gentlemen. This is, unfortunately, the race completely out for Steph. Just as I was saying, and I do apologise to Rob, this entire Grand Prix I've been writing him off due to what I thought was a mistake in his strategy. And I've been writing him off as the winner of this race, but it looks like he's going to win the race now, ladies and gentlemen. A 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Steph, and he has retired from the race. I really do feel for Steph. Luckily, he retires from the race, and you know what? This is just a social race. It's just a little bit of fun. But I do feel for Steph. He must be hurting after that one, because he's been racing incredibly well. I'll talk about Steph more in a second. But he's been racing incredibly well all race. I believe he mastered it with the strategy, with the early soft pit. I do believe that was a superior strategy, because those mediums seem to just never lose tyre life. And he had the win in the bag. I was just about to say, PJ, that this race was going to come down to the final 3 laps. Steph was on the soft tyre. He only had to catch up another 4 seconds to Rob, and he would have been within the 5 seconds he needed to win. And unfortunately, what happened was, you have that fast left-hander after the corkscrew, I believe it's around turn 11 or turn 12, and you have to get as close to that apex as possible. It's another sausage curb, and if you hit that curb, the 45-degree angled curb, too much, it just spits you out. Then you have that really fast right-hander afterwards, and I believe that may have also been where he crashed, in which you need to get as close to the curb as possible. And if you even tickle, or even think about tickling that curb, unfortunately you're going to be spun around into an endless vortex and completely spat out in no time. But it's incredibly heartbreaking. I do feel heartbroken right now, PJ. I'm sure that's what happened when I crashed in Canada. You almost felt like this, is that I've been watching Steph this entire race, and it's been an incredible drive, and it could have been his inaugural VFL win for the first pre-season testing race before season 2, and he deserved that win. He did an incredible strategy, outsmarted the rest of the grid, and unfortunately I personally believe that he got a little bit too confident on his fresh set of softs. He realised that he still had to catch 5 seconds with only 5 laps to go to Rob. Rob had all of that ERS banked up and was using it wisely. So Steph was pushing a little bit too much, in my opinion, to try and catch up to Rob as quickly as possible, and unfortunately he had completely lost it, which I really do feel sorry for Steph. He got another 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but I don't think he cared at that point, and he retired in the pits, which was very professional of him, rather than just driving straight into a wall or something and calling out a safety car.
He's got a good attitude about it too. He's in the Discord saying that he's proud of his race he raced well. So yeah, just a social race, no worries.
Yeah, exactly that. That was incredible, really. I'm just checking Discord right now, and you're right. He said that he drove a really good race, and yeah. Wait, hang on. Udar. I keep on pronouncing him as Udar. And I see that you've put a message right there talking about that I'm pronouncing it wrong. So how do you pronounce it, PJ?
Bro, I have no idea. I mispronounce so many people's names. So yeah, if he's still listening, I'm sorry. I know it's tough to. It's his first race here, so we've never called him before. So it happens. I don't know. He'll let us know how we pronounce it. I have no idea. I thought your pronunciation was a very good guess. Better than what I would have done.
I'm thinking that maybe it could be Awada or Uwada or something like that. But I'm definitely curious to find out. I will message you after the race, and if you can explain to me the pronunciation of your name, I'll be more than happy to change the way that I pronounce your name, because I believe that and I actually am a bit nervous to pronounce his name. I am going to pronounce it Udar just for the rest of this race. But I believe that he's actually a Tier 2 driver, and I'm going to be commentating Tier 2 alongside Dark Inferno. So it will be very interesting to see what happens. However, this is an interesting race at the moment, PJ. This is really shaping up to be something interesting. We have Rob 5 seconds in the lead with only 2 laps to go. with a, I believe, a 3-second time penalty, and that's what's making it interesting. I'm just checking the time penalties right now, okay, and I believe, 3 seconds, but Darsan, with no penalties, 4.8 seconds. He only has to catch up, 1.8 seconds, but unfortunately, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not too sure if that's going to happen, because Rob has still got 50% ERS banked up in his battery. Meanwhile, Darsan has only got around 10% ERS. So he's not going to have a lot of battery capacity to overtake Rob. So it's going to require a miracle from Darsan's perspective, which involves Rob maybe even spinning out like Steph unfortunately did, in order for him to win the race. Even so, we've got a little bit battle between Kevin and JDM right now. Kevin does wait. Oh, hang on, there's been an incredible contact from JDM. I believe that was a bit of dirty driving, unfortunately, from JDM, which is unfortunate to see. I'm 99% sure that that was dirty driving from JDM, but it could have been a mistake, and he could not have seen that Kevin was right behind him, but I'm sure that would be reported, and I did catch it on camera. What happened, PJ, is that Kevin and JDM, it was an incredible side-by-side battle into turn 1. Kevin let JDM take the lead. He got DRS on the straight after turn 3. And unfortunately, he was turned into by JDM on the straight. JDM just turned his wheel to the right, and Kevin hit the wall, which is extremely unfortunate. If it was intentional, then I'm sure that we will follow that up and punish JDM if that was intentional. But I'm not going to jump to conclusions, and there is a very likely chance that JDM simply did not see the proximity marker and maybe swerved to the right to take the inside lane or to break the toe or whatever into turn 4, and unfortunately didn't realise that Kevin was right behind him. But luckily, it's only a social race, PJ, so there's not going to be much anger, and you can only be proud of yourself for what race you've already done, especially for these tier 2 drivers, PJ. It's I cannot stress this enough, that races like Kevin and JDM and Infamous, and especially Luke, who has got a battle right now with JKS real quick as he goes on the inside of turn 4, but they're side by side into the S's. He does oversteer a little bit outside turn 4 and does let JKS through the S's. This is the final race right now. Final lap, sorry, but as I was saying real quick, hang on a minute, sorry, I had to just start another recording. What I was saying real quick, Rob, PJ, I'm losing it, PJ, I'm losing it.
You're good, bro, you're good.
Oh, thank you. But what I was just going to say is that you really cannot stress enough the amount of effort that these drivers have put in, like JDM and Kevin, who are tier 2 drivers. And you may look at Kevin and go, he's 12th on the grid. But you know what? He's a tier 2 driver, and to be racing against drivers of this caliber when you're in tier 2 and still finish the race is incredible. But I do apologise to Rob because I haven't been able to follow him whilst he crosses the line, and it is Robert DS wins the first inaugural pre-season 2 testing race in Bahrain. Darsan comes second in the social race. Cole comes third after quite an incredible race between Rob and Steph, which unfortunately ended prematurely. Like I said, that would have been an incredible race coming down to the final 5 laps. But unfortunately, it was kind of stolen from us a bit early. But Steph can only be proud of his performance. Sky comes in P4th. Luke, and I cannot stress this enough, what a result from Luke. I believe this is his first VFL race, and I thought originally that he was a tier 2 driver. But I mean, the driver has literally been, the kid has been overtaken left, right and centre. He's been incredibly fair in his battles as well, and he's just finished P5 in the middle of a tier 1 race. I mean, if he is signed up for tier 2, I don't even think we will let him race for tier 2. Whether you like it or not, Luke, you're now tier 1 driver, because that's just how much pace you have. It really is incredible to see how well he's done. But as you can see, the podium celebration with Robert DS, who has just won the race after polling it as well. And we have Darsan second and Connor Kidd third. Connor Kidd is an incredible driver, can we say that? He's really been giving me and Rob a hard time last season. So it's a good result from him in P3. Then we have Sky in P4. Luke, the Jamaican, in the Alfa Romeo on his inaugural VFL race, P5. JKS Racing, I believe that's also his first race, P6. However, a very conspicuous incident with JDM, I do apologise, JKS. an incredible race from you, sir. Tristan, 7th, Cameroon 8th, the 2 McLarens, infamous in 9th, JDM, under investigation for sure, but finishes in 10th. Dark Inferno in 11th, after being controlled by the AI for 95% of the race. Kevin unfortunately comes behind him because of his loss of his wing, but he still gets no penalties, so respect to Kevin. And then we have Steph and Uda, who unfortunately DNF and finish 14th and 15th. And then we have me, PJ, who I think is driver of the day for completing one corner of, not even one corner, I retired from the race straight away.
Penalty free.
Yeah, I was penalty free, but so was the incredible driver, Darsan, as well. I mean, that was a very interesting race, a bit of a low attendance grid today, PJ, but even so, that was an incredible race, in my opinion, a very close race. I think every driver should be proud of the performance that they've put in today, especially with Steph. Conquered the strategy, kept on lapping faster than Rob, popped the fastest lap, and unfortunately, it just shows how the most minor of mistakes can lead in a fatal end to your race, unfortunately, for Steph. What do you think of this race, PJ? I've been talking so much I can't talk anymore, so unfortunately you have to give your opinion.
It was fun. You did an incredible job of breaking down the strategic parts of the race, and even when there weren't necessarily close battles going on track, you were pointing out how they were strategy-wise, so that was very fun. I enjoyed it. Like you said, it was great to see a lot of the T2 drivers, a lot of the new drivers racing so well, especially Luke. And yeah, I don't know, it's definitely a fun race. I'm hoping everybody doesn't, take any bad experiences in it too harshly. It's just a social race, and I don't know, it's tough. There's always going to be at least like 2 or 3 people that get screwed in every race, so you just got to hope that it's not you. But very fun race to sit here and listen to. I enjoyed it. That was fun.
Oh, well, thanks a lot. I'm glad that I can entertain you. And to be honest, next season, I think that I am going to be racing in a few races next season, especially on Saudi Arabia. I'm definitely going to be racing there. And I'm going to be commentating. Yeah, exactly. I will probably sign myself up as a reserve because I do enjoy the thrill of racing. Just watching that, I kind of enjoy the side-by-side action. But no, I'm definitely going to race in Saudi Arabia because it's a new track, and I want to see what the racing is going to be like. But also, I might chip in every so often. I'm definitely going to commentate for the first race in Silverstone. I cannot wait for that. It's just going to be absolute carnage, and hopefully we'll get a full grid as well. But for the rest of the races, I think that I might maybe even alternate every other race. But I'm definitely going to be commentating every Tier 2 race. Which, are you going to be racing in Tier 2, PJ? Here's your time to give your official announcement.
No, I don't think so. I got 2 Ferrari drivers signed for it, so I'm not taking either of them out. So I'm chilling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And hopefully I see you on the track for the next social race. I really want to see you drive at least once, PJ. I'm not going to be happy
okay,
until...
maybe you can give me a straight answer, because I literally was like racing in online ranked and like can drive fine to like drive well, and then I get into the private lobby and the car just like feels completely different, and I don't like, do online settings carry over to private lobbies?
Ooh, that's very interesting. What do you mean by online settings specifically?
I honestly don't know. Like, I race the traction control off either way, so
yeah.
It's like not that. But I don't know. I just like couldn't drive the car in the private lobby, and so that's why I didn't race today, because I kept fucking everybody up in the race. So yeah, I don't know. I gotta get that figured out, because I'm decent in ranked, but I'm absolute dog gutter in...
Oh no, I wouldn't worry about it too much, PJ. No, I think that it might be a case of I don't know, maybe perhaps lag, but I'm not too sure. A lot of drivers here are from Europe, and you're probably in American ranked sessions, to be honest. If it isn't that, I would say that it could be maybe even the car performance. But then I
might just need to get good. That may be the...
that's terrible. No, that is not a solution. I'm sure you're actually an excellent driver already, and I cannot wait, to be fair, to see everyone racing. And hopefully next week we get a bit more of a higher attendance for the next social race, because it breaks my heart to see, unfortunately, only 14 people turn up, which normally is pretty cool, but this time, unfortunately, we've only got 14 people, and for VFL, that's a little bit on the low side, but hopefully next week we get a full grid for Azerbaijan, which will be interesting. But anyway, I think we should leave it at that, and I can listen back to this commentary and cringe for a full hour. Unfortunately, my mic quality's been a little bit low quality, because I was going to use my phone headphones and then talk to you via the voice chat on the phone, but I just couldn't get it working. That was the technical difficulties at the start of the stream. So I've had to use my PlayStation mic instead, which is a little bit low quality, but I am going to be fishing out my old Apple 3.5mm jack headphones that I got years ago, and I'm going to try and use them for the commentary, which I really hope works, because I want to try and upgrade my microphone setup. But even so, enough talking. I'm kind of rambling about nothing now. It's time to listen back to my commentary, it's time to cringe, and it's time to message Steph about his unfortunate disaster.
Nah, man, again, thank you for taking the reins on commentary. You did great great listening to you, non-stop action. So I will end the broadcast here, but thank you very much for taking the mic on this one. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, I can't wait for next week. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. See you same time, same place. Adios, everyone.